Hi there. I wanted to do a short video today on sitting behind a desk. It seems like since the pandemic started in March, I've seen a lot more people with hip pain and single-sided hip pain, which we're all sitting more. So especially if we're working behind Zoom and we're in my case, like I was standing up and seeing clients, now I'm behind the desk all the time with Zoom, and I'm sure everyone else has had a similar situation. So what I wanted to point out is some of the things we can do with good positioning of the body while we're working behind the desk. So I'm going to show you some positions that I find are very detrimental over a period of time. And what made me start to really look at this was noticing the office that I'm working in. I observed some of the positions people were in, and some of them were complaining about their knees. So I'm going to go over a few things, and then I'll show you the right way to do it. So I have just a regular chair here. You can see just a normal chair. I've spent a lot of money on chairs, and what I learned is the chair had nothing to do with what was happening to me. What everything depended upon is how I was sitting in that chair while I was working. So as an example, maybe you're sitting like this, okay? If you look at me from the side, you'll see I'm bent forward, probably slumped down here. The low back is slumped. This knee is bent. This one's out in front of me, and I'm working like this. From the front, I might be like this. Well, you see this knee is turned in. Okay, that's going to invite, especially if you're in this position a long time, that's going to invite some muscle imbalances. Or maybe you're like this, or this, or this. But most of the time you see a lot of people hunched over in the upper back. The low back is also in flexion. That's what we call it when we're like this with forward head posture working on our computers. So what will really help you, and I've done this, so I don't teach anything that I don't do personally, is you want to start by getting in your chair. I'm going to show you from the side. And you don't have to get all the way on the edge because we don't want you to fall over, but just sit in the chair, and you want to sit on top of your sit bones, and those are those bones underneath your butt here. And you want to have your feet out in front of you and your ankles right underneath your knees, okay? So if you're like this, that's putting a lot of pressure on the top of the knee. And I've known a lot of people that had what we call non-impact knee injuries caused from this type of position. So you're going to sit like this, and then what you're going to do, I'll pull my top up a little, you're going to roll your pelvis forward. In other words, I'm not under like this, I'm just rolling the pelvis forward, like I'm taking the belly button and pushing it towards the floor. Now when I do that, I'll start with this position. Now just rolling the pelvis forward, look at the upper back. I don't have to hold myself in good posture, I just go into the right posture because my pelvis is now in what they call an anterior tilt. Now, I don't want to go like this because then I've got all the weight on the front again, and you'll start to feel that there's a lot of tension in here. So you want to be straight, roll the pelvis forward, keeping the knees about hip width apart and feet ahead. You don't want one ahead of the other. You want them the same, because if one's ahead of the other, that actually creates a rotation down in the pelvis, which will affect how you feel. It'll cause imbalances and give you back pain. So from the side, roll the pelvis forward. That puts you in an upright position. And then you'll notice that you can hold this position for quite a while without being uncomfortable. And I know a lot of times when we sit in these crazy positions, because we're so focused on what we're doing, that when we go to get up, it hurts right in here, or it hurts in the low back. And that's from sitting in these positions that are not really anatomically correct. And then what happens is we start getting the muscle imbalances, which creates the pain. Back pain usually almost always comes out of the hips if the hips aren't balanced. So that's why when we're sitting down and you feel like, oh God, my back really hurts from work today. And then what happens is if you start to get an issue with imbalance, and maybe one hip goes up, then you're going to start feeling here in the mid back, you're going to start feeling little spasms. And that's because the pelvis is not lined up properly. So I'll do this one more time. Sit with the ankles underneath the knees, about the middle of the chair. You should be able to feel the sit bones. Roll the pelvis forward, and you see that just brings me right upright. And then, of course, ergonomically, if you can be looking straight at your computer screen, that's great. Sometimes we can't do that. Mine is not set up that way, but I sit properly. And sometimes I can even put my laptop on my lap, which is, even though my head's down, I'm still in good position, and I can hold that position for long periods of time, knowing that I'm in good anatomical position, and it beats being in the wrong one, because sitting is not all that great for us anyway. I think they said it's the new smoking. So thank you very much today for looking in on this. I encourage you to try this out. You will have a difference. And remember, when you're to the side, don't lean forward like this. Roll the pelvis forward and then work like this. And that'll bring that upper body back over the hips. Thank you and have a great day.